to have my book desired to be put on the screen by someone else, it's just, the feeling is amazing. I consider this a life marker. It really is, for me, it's a life marker. Well, I am in Toronto, Canada, in the suburbs of Toronto, Canada, which I absolutely adore. And I was invited, I think I might have pushed myself a little bit, to come to the set of the Fallen Angels Book Club. And I am gobsmacked, amazed. And I think, I was talking to my publisher actually, and she says, Ray, what are you going to do all day? I said, who cares? If I had to watch 43 takes, I would be entranced with 43 takes, and I am. The time goes by so fast. It was an email, and they said, you know, we're interested in Fallen Angels Book Club, and I go like, oh yeah, right. And I talked to my publisher, and she goes, no, we got it too. And I go like, wow. I said, well, maybe this is for real. And so then, you know, the mechanics of the publishing world and the option world took place. I was just unprepared, to tell you the truth. I'm a researcher, so usually, you know, I'm Googling, like, what does this mean? But I was very much honored. The concept of the Fallen Angels Book Club was a product of an online class I had at UCLA. The group of people, it was a book club. And then you had to put a little twist on it of ex-cons. And they were societies, had already been kicked out of society, but they wanted to come back. A contemporary mystery. For me, you're weighing in the reality as well as the plot line. So I had to get a story that worked. Ex-cons, okay, well, and I've come from California. The story was set in California at that time. But the laws in California require that you can expunge your record by having 5 years after you're paroled, and then you have these recommendations. Well, with that, I said, okay, now I have my plot, because you have to get it to work. And that's one thing about writing. It's not just storytelling, it's a little bit of research, it's a little bit of reality check. So Hollis got started actually in 2010. It took 5 years to write the first book. I think after book one, I had her. I had her in my head, literally. And then the book club members, they were all distinct. They all had their own backgrounds and how they got to be ex-cons, and as well as how society accepted them afterwards. So they had to live with their past, but somehow make it through the future. And they wanted to. They were white-collar felons, but they were not hardcore criminals. They all wanted to come back. They had reasons for being in that situation. And also when you write, you don't want someone to say, well, they deserve to go to jail. You know, so they had to have redeeming qualities as well. 5 years, the first book, the second one was written in about 8 months. Hollis's character had to evolve such that she was a flawed character, very flawed, and so she had to evolve and become acceptable not only to society but to herself. She had been burned with her first marriage. Her husband had framed her, took her for the fall, and he was basically a cad, you know. And so she was very distrusting. And she built this wall up, said, no one will ever do that to me again. And so to her, the romance comes very slowly, but each little chip comes off the wall until she's finally vulnerable. And that she can't stand. She hates being vulnerable. And so it's like a love, literally in her own mind, a love-hate relationship. Because the more she falls in love, the more she hates herself for falling in love. Faber at first was not necessarily her intended. He just became that way because she was evolving. She was seeing a person who was her mental match as well as her personality match. Even though he was a much more tempered, in a sense, personality, much more sociable than she was. I have been asked many times, can you please just write another book? You know, just keep going, you know, because there's more stories. And maybe someday I will. But right now, I didn't want to just have her there, like just repeating, you know, a mystery. But there's something tickling in the back of my head saying, oh, maybe there is a book 7.